Hi, Andrew here, and I'm going to say, don't quit. Don't let up. Keep up the pressure. I recorded a video last night. Yeah, saw me in me brown coat, sitting in the car, waiting for my kids' piano class. And I was talking about how the revolution is being televised and how things have changed. Where 20 years ago, the mainstream media could set the narrative, and we had to believe them. Well, more than 20 years ago, but starting around 20 years ago with the downfall of Dan Rather and his transparent piece of crap attempt to swing the 2000 presidential election from Bush to Gore with his garbage made up memo. It got fact checked overnight. Well, now we're fact checking in real time. Things are moving fast. I'm already out of date. How am I already out of date? Well, I made that recording. It's 2:45 in the afternoon. I made that at 7:15 last night. Do the math. That's how long ago it was. And I said, we're past the hump of the week. The protests haven't died out. The truckers are still there. There's more protests planned. Protests are not. It's not just the Alberta border and Ottawa. They're coming for Queens Park. They're coming to your local town. My little town, well, not little, my medium-ish city of 125, 135,000 people. I know there's at least one protest, and I got to see if I can't get my lazy keister out to it tomorrow. But why am I so all over the place? I was just making a video, a voice only recording. I keep teasing a podcast, and I just made my first podcast recording. And when I was finished, I just checked my news feed. And in it, I saw the Chief Medical Officer of Health for Ontario and Dr. Tam, who I think has the same title for the feds, have both said maybe it's time to revisit the COVID passports. Now, fascist half-wit Prime Minister Blackface is talking about rolling the tanks. But he's a fascist and it's a Trudeau tradition. People do something you don't like, invoke the War Measures Act and roll in the tanks. It's a Trudeau thing. One of his major ministers is saying maybe we should revisit the COVID passports. Fat fascist flatworm Ford said, "Oh, truckers, we got your message. That's enough. Go home." His chief medical officer of health, Kieran Moore, has said, maybe it's time to revisit the COVID passports. The idiots in charge of Ontario and Canada may not have heard. Obviously, Kenny in Alberta and Mo in Saskatchewan aren't quite as thick. They've obviously got some actual neurological activity between their ears because they're already leading from behind the truckers and saying, it's time to open up. It's time to end this. Yeah, Premier Flatworm is saying, oh, Ottawa businesses, Ottawa restaurants, I feel your pain, the difficulty of reopening. Gee, Doug, why are they reopening? Because of the pain you inflicted on them. No crocodile tears. The truckers have already claimed one major scalp in Aaron O'Fool. Let's see if we can't claim two more. Kenny's saving his political life. Mo, same thing. Whether Prime Minister Boris Johnson saves his political fat keister from his own stupidity remains to be seen, but he's doing the same thing. Pretty boy Blackface and fat flatworm obviously haven't got the message yet. Keep up the pressure. First they ignore you. Didn't work. Then they laugh at you. Only made you madder and made it bigger. Then they fight you. Well, Trudeau and Ford are still in fight you mode. I mean, seriously, War Measures Act and the Army? Really, trust fund? Then you win. Already there's cracks. The chief medical officers are saying maybe it's time to drop the fascism, even though the elected leaders are still trying to press the fascism button. Don't let them. Keep up the pressure. And if I sound intense and angry, I am. But understand, I had to restart this video. This is the third take. Normally I do these in one shot. But I was laughing so hard that news stories in my feed, one atop the other. Dr. Tam saying, maybe it's time to revisit the fascism. Right below that, Prime Minister Trudeau, maybe it's time to put the fascism pedal to the metal and drive the tanks. We need a Tiananmen Square. You know what, Trust Fund? We don't. What we need is to remember we're freeborn Englishmen. Magna Carta, look it up. It's been the foundation of our civilization for 8 centuries. I know you've never read anything that wasn't stuck under your nose by Gerald Butts or one of your other bong circle buddies. Maybe read outside of that. Keep it up, people. We're winning. Keep up the pressure. We'll get this. We'll get this.